Well, Kimmie, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you coming here. It's my understanding that your primary care provider referred you to have a special conversation with me for the purpose of talking about where alcohol might be might or might not fit into some of the problems that have brought you to come seeking some help.
Yes.
So, with your permission, do I have your permission for us to have to ask a couple of questions about drinking, and we see whether that may be an issue or not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Kimmie. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is just I'll show you the form, and we can just go through this together here. And before I do that, I'm going to ask you 10 questions about drinking on a standardized form, and it's going to be asking you what your drinking pattern and style of drinking has been like during this past year. So it's not during your lifetime, but just in the past year, what your drinking pattern has been like.
Okay.
And a lot of times people think, what is a drink? Well, look, I'm going to be asking questions about how many drinks, for example, and what I'm going to be doing is asking you how many standard drinks. So we're clear on this. Like a 12-ounce beer would be one standard drink, or 4.5 glasses of wine, ounces of wine would be a drink, or 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. So if I ask how many drinks you would be calculating in terms of standard drinks.
Sure.
Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, all right. Now let's set that there in case you need that. Okay. And this is a form that is used in situations like we're in right now. It's called the Alcohol Use Disorders Identification Test, or called AUDIT for short. And it's 10 questions. So I'll just show you this as you go along here. So, looking back on the past year, how often do you have a drink containing alcohol on a typical day?
How often do I have a drink?
Yes, ma'am.
Almost every day.
Almost every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 or 6 times a week.
Oh, okay. 6 there, okay. Okay, number 2, how many drinks containing alcohol, like these here, do you have on a typical day when you are drinking?
You know, it varies. I would say an average of, I mean, sometimes I'll just drink one, but often I'll have 3 or 4. 3
or 4?
Yeah.
So if you had to say 3 or 4, okay, 3 or 4?
I would say 3 on average.
Okay, all right. 3 or 4. How often do you have 6 or more drinks on one occasion?
Never.
Never?
No.
Okay. How often during the last year have you found that you were not able to stop drinking once you had started?
Never.
Never? Okay. How often during the last year have you failed to do what was normally expected from you because of drinking?
Oh, you know, I don't think very often. Maybe like once a month.
Once a month?
At max.
Okay, all right. How often during the last year have you needed a first drink in the morning to get yourself going after a heavy drinking session?
Never.
Never?
I don't drink during the day generally.
Okay, all righty. How often during the last year have you had a feeling of guilt or remorse after drinking?
You know, that's more often. I would say that's maybe weekly. Weekly? Yeah.
Okay.
Daily to weekly. I mean, it's not like every day, but I feel I don't always get things done.
Gotcha.
The night before.
Okay.
You know, when I've been drinking. So.
Mm-hmm. So, even if not daily, almost daily, would you say?
Yeah.
Or week? Okay. All righty. And again, it's not as though any one of these is the right or wrong answer. I'm not asking you to suggest that you score one way or the other, but just so we can get an accurate picture of your drinking.
Okay.
So thank you. Yeah. Okay, number 8 here. How often during the last year have you been unable to remember what happened the night before because you had been drinking?
Never.
Never? Okay. And have you or someone else been injured as a result of your drinking?
Yes.
Okay. Was that in the last year?
No.
No, okay. So yes, but not in the last year?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And has a relative, friend, physician, or another health worker been concerned about your drinking or suggested you cut down?
Yeah. My husband has expressed concern about my drinking.
Your husband? Okay. And was that in the last year?
Yes, it was.
Okay, all righty. Okay. Thank you for your candid responses. So what I'm going to do now is just go back here, and as you were giving me your responses, what I've been doing is just circling the category that matches your answers, and I'm just tally these up here. So we'll just count them up here. Okay, you scored 17, and this questionnaire has been administered to thousands and thousands of people, and what they've done is try to compare scores of people nationally and compare them to the extent to which people who, with different scorings, are more or less likely to experience problems related to drinking, whether it's health-related problems or marital problems, financial problems, legal problems, those kind of things. So we'll compare your score of 17 with where you sort of compare with the norms here. Your score was 17, and that would put you in this bracket here, 16 to 19, which would suggest that your drinking is a matter of concern, and that might require some monitoring and further exploration. That it puts you at risk for some, but not necessarily guaranteed to have problems, but you're in a category where you're drinking, it puts you at risk for some of those problems. So, and we can revisit that here shortly, but what I'd like to do is just put this one aside and ask a totally different set of questions. And I'll just set that right here. And this one here that I'm going to fill out, people drink for different reasons. Some people like the taste of it, or whatever. But if I were just to ask you, what were some of the things or benefits or things, the good things about drinking? What would you say are some of the good things about your drinking that you like?
I like to drink as a stress reliever.
Stress reliever, okay.
It also helps me sleep. I think those are the two biggest ones for me.
Okay, and it didn't take you long to identify those things. And
yeah.
so the first one you said was stress reliever. What are some of the stresses that you're experiencing, Kimmie?
Well, I feel like I've had a lot of life changes in the past year. Started a new job, working full time, and I'm trying to balance, my work and home life. And I feel like I don't have enough time. I feel that I work all day and then I get home and I don't have enough time in the day to try to do what I need to do around the house, as well as spend time with the family. So I feel like I'm neglecting my family. And just running out of time to do the things I feel like I need to do.
Okay. So you just started a new job, and not just a new job, but a new full-time job. And nothing was taken off your plate to accommodate that, so you find yourself working all day, and then by the time you get home, not only have you lost some time that you could have given to attend to family and the housekeeping chores and so forth, now so after you're sort of given your full measure of energy doing the work, now you're home and you're going to fix meals and be involved with your family. On top of just running those things and maybe not being able to accomplish them all, you sounds like you also feel worry that you are neglecting your family.
Yeah, especially the kids.
Yeah.
They're young, and I feel that being at work during the day and then busy at night, and one of the daughters is gone on the weekends, I definitely don't have enough time with any of them.
Yeah. So from all that stress, you find that alcohol is one way to sort of just take some of the edge off of that stress.
Yeah.
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 And you also said that it helps you sleep.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Well, now, if you were to consider the prospect of cutting down your drinking, what do you see might be some of the not so good things about that prospect?
Not so good things about cutting down drinking.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Got it.
Well, having troubles falling asleep.
Okay.
I think would be my biggest concern.
Okay.
You know, I like to drink for a bit of stress relief, but I think the biggest concern for me would be the sleeping.
Gotcha. So you anticipate that if you were to cut down drinking, you might be good at finding other ways to deal with stress, but the big challenge would be being able to fall asleep. Would
Yes.
be the biggest cost of the idea of cutting down your drinking.
I think so.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's just look at the other side of the table here. What do you see, Kimmie, are some of the costs of drinking, some of the not so good things about your drinking?
Well, I think that when I drink, I tend to lose focus
Okay.
and ignore maybe some of the things I should be doing. You know, I might not pack the kids' lunches the night before, or do some of the cleaning tasks, or just not even have enough time to spend with the kids before I go to bed.
Gotcha.
So I guess the most negative thing would be that it takes up some of my time in which I could be getting other things done.
Okay. So the cost of drinking, it's not only do you lose your focus, but also even the time that you could be doing to focus on other things, like packing your lunches for your children and spending time with them.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Alrighty. And if you were to imagine cutting down your drinking to a safer level, something where you're not putting yourself at risk, what do you see might be some of the benefits of doing so, from your perspective?
Well, I think the most obvious one would be that that would be a healthier thing.
In what ways?
Well, if I'm able to relieve stress or get to sleep without alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
or even just spending time where I'm not drinking,
Mm-hmm.
that is obviously going to be healthier for me
Okay.
than spending time drinking.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. Other benefits of cutting down that you might see besides being healthier?
I might get things done.
Okay.
Might be able to focus a little bit more and get things done in the evening, spend some more time with the family.
Okay. So in addition to being healthier, you would find that if you were to cut down your drinking, that you would get things done, you'd be more productive, and also be able to focus more and have some more quality time with your children, your family.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. The reason why I asked that, it helps us, both me and perhaps hopefully you too, if I were to draw like a fulcrum on the bottom here, you can sort of see there's some definitely things we can point to as the reasons why you do tend to lean toward drinking. But at the same time, there are some factors that may sort of have you sort of consider, well, maybe it might be better if I cut down on my drinking. So you sort of caught in this tug and pull here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So we're getting some good information here, Kimmie. And yet another thing that we can assess here during our brief time together here, and that is if we are at a point, you know, certainly we spend some time talking about the prospect of cutting down on your drinking, it'd be good for us to sort of get a sense for, well, how ready might you be about maybe actually making an actual change about that. So I'm just going to show real quickly here what's called a readiness ruler. And again, just like with this form here, there's no right or wrong answers. So on a scale of 0 to 10, Kimmie, where 0 about how ready you might be to cut down drinking now, today, or this evening, where would you find it? How would you rate how ready you are? Where 0 is I'm not ready at all to make that cutting down, to 10 where I'm absolutely ready. Where would you rate your readiness to cut down drinking today?
I would say about a 6 or 7, maybe.
Okay. Which would you choose, 6 or the 7? Which would you say?
6.
6? Okay. Alrighty. So 6 would suggest that you're pretty well across the halfway point here. So why did you rate it that high? And why did you rate it a 6 instead of, let's say, a 3 or a 4? Why did you rate it so high? Your readiness to quit drinking, or cut down your drinking, rather.
Well, I don't feel that I drink all that much, and I don't feel like it's a huge problem. I mean, I definitely have my concerns, obviously, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be like a huge difficult task, and it would be a positive. So I feel open to the idea.
Okay. So on the one hand, looking back and reflecting on your drinking, you don't really feel that it's like really significantly bad, but yet at the same time you recognize that the idea of just simply cutting back a little bit doesn't sound like a big deal to begin with, and certainly if you were to do so, there would be some payoff.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're getting now to the final step here is if you were to then go from this readiness, which suggests to me that you're ready to try this on for size, how might you go about doing that? Let's say this evening, if you were to implement an action plan here to parlay or convert your desire to cut down on drinking into an actual plan, how might you go about doing that?
Well, I could just plan on drinking less.
Okay, and how might you do that? How might you plan to do that?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that before. I guess I could do something like just write down how many drinks I've had and make sure to not have more than I've told myself I'm allowed.
Okay.
What do you
number
think?
what number would you like to what would be your target?
Well, I think if I normally have 3 or 4, then maybe if I stopped at 2.
2?
Does that sound? I mean, I'm not sure if that's exactly, and I don't know where to go with this.
Sure, yeah. A 2 sounds like a very reasonable thing as a target.
Okay.
So if I understand correctly, you think of writing down a goal of 2 and then monitoring and writing with your drinking as a way of keeping you ever presently focusing on that. What are some other things that you might be able to do to make sure that you're successful with your plan, besides the writing it down?
I don't know. Do you have any suggestions?
Since you mentioned that your husband was the one who sort of recommended that you quit drinking, to what extent might there be some value in asking your husband to help you with follow through with your plan?
I think that he would be really open to that.
Oh, good.
I think that he would like to help me with that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like between the two of us, we came up with a very good plan. How do you feel about if we were to schedule a follow-up appointment, let's say in 2 weeks, so that we can revisit this and see how well this worked and see how we can make sure that you're successful in following through with this good commitment that you made yourself?
I think that would be fine.
Wonderful.